Quran isn't true, first of all. The reason why the Quran isn't true because ultimately, according to Hadith tradition,
Just one-sided again.
It's okay, you go ahead. I'll move the microphone around when you speak. Go ahead.
okay, so according to Hadith tradition, right, and this is a tradition attributed to the words of the Prophet. Basically, what happened is there was this caliph called Uthman, right? And during the time of your Prophet's recitation of the Quran, he then sends Qurans to many cities. Those cities then end up with errors in them. So what Uthman does after Muhammad dies is he gathers up all the prophets and burns them, and he standardized one Quran. Right, that one Quran would then sent to 5 cities: Basra, Damascus. Yeah, you know that story. Basically, those 5 copies that were sent to those 5 cities, we don't have. We don't have the 5 copies sent to those 5 cities. What we have is the earliest copy of the manuscript is the Birmingham Quran, and it's basically not even a Quran. It's one page with Surah 18 on it, and those the chapters you look up yourself. There's historians like Jay Smith who've done stories on this. Basically, there's stories like seven sleeps of Ephesus. This story comes from a tradition, a Gnostic tradition dated from 140 BC. Sorry, AD. Sorry, my bad. And there's another story that's attributed to Moses, and there's obviously the Evangelion of James. These things predate not only Muhammad, but Islam itself. So any revelation that comes before it. Now that's the earliest burning Quran we've got. Then we've got the Sana manuscript. The Sana manuscript is basically, people say it's like 99% of the Quran, but it really isn't. So like 99% Quran, but basically there is errors, there is writing on top of the writing that's dated to later in the 7th century. And there's writings that date to...
I'm not concentrating because it's just a story going round and round. I'm not concentrating. Can I attempt to answer? You've been talking for them. I know that's rude of me.
All I'm doing is going through because you asked me, why do I think the Bible is in the Quran is?
The main thing.
So I'm going through the historical.
It is important. No disrespect. Sorry.
You're going to have to speak louder.
Sorry to disrespect you. I don't mean that in a way, but I'm just a bit tired at the moment. But bismillah. In terms of the Quran being the word of God, just so you know, no disrespect. Bismillah. The first thing, the Quran was written, the Bible was 1790 years after. You know the history of the Bible as well, yes?
Yeah, of course.
1790 years over. Whoever allegedly, John and
Matthew, Mark,
Luke and John. According to them, they weren't even disciples. They're not disciples.
Well, actually, I'd argue that John Mark was a part of the disciple group. So John Mark, who's mentioned in Corinthians, John Mark, who's mentioned in Corinthians, is actually a disciple of Peter. And Peter was a disciple of Jesus. Right? We have Luke, who was a physician. He was also around the apostles after Jesus died. So whilst he himself wasn't an apostle, he was around the apostles at that time. And obviously, when it comes to Matthew, it's traditionally claimed by Papias, the church historian, and by many of the church historians as a whole, so the church as a whole, that basically Matthew wrote his gospel in Hebrew, and this is attributed to Matthew the apostle. So we know at least historically, according to the witness of the Church Universal or the Church Catholic, that these things come from the time of Jesus Christ. And we know, of course, that those people wrote what they wrote because... Sorry, I can't hear you.
What's Apocrypha? Apocrypha, what's that? Why is that existing? Proof that there's not original Bible. There was always these manuscripts.
You said Apocrypha.
Apocrypha or something. You know, there's different versions of the Bible. Catholic, different version. There's the Orthodox, there's the Protestant.
Oh, so you're talking about the Apocrypha.
Apocrypha. So what that proves, what is the actual Bible content? With that said again.
Okay, so...
can I just say what I'm saying? To prove that the Quran is the word of God and one of its miracles. Jesus spoke in Aramaic. There's no Aramaic Bible around today. Arabic is still around. 20% not sent to the Arab. 20% of Muslims nowadays are only Arab. It's a universal religion. Non-Arabs memorize the Quran cover to cover. If we had a Holocaust, God forbid, when it comes, all the scriptures are gone.
So you're bringing a lot of points. So
yes.
Can I answer them? Because I'm not going to remember all the
with
points.
With the scriptures gone, only the Quran will be reproduced.
All right,
that's fine. The Bible.
So I want to just destroy this stupid folly claim that basically because
no need to get insulted.
No, I do believe the claim is funny. I didn't say you were funny. I said the claim you made was funny. So you understand? The distinction is I'm not calling you funny. The claim you made because other people made that claim. The claim is made that because we don't have a Bible in Aramaic, therefore Jesus was lost. This is not a good claim because even the lingua franca or the language of the time of Jesus' time was both Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. if you read the end of the Gospels, right, on Jesus' very cross, there is an inscription that's written the King of the Jews, right? And that inscription is translated to both Latin, Greek, and Hebrew, because that was the lingua franca of the time. And Jesus himself, so allow me to land. Allow me to land. Yeah.
So I can understand.
I'll answer your question.
So I can understand.
I'll answer your question.
Conversation, civilization. No, I'm asking you exactly.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
You're talking at me.
So ask your
But
question.
can I ask that? Yeah. What language did Jesus speak? Aramaic
So
or
Jesus spoke Greek in the Gospel.
Greek?
He would
In
have
the
had to because he
Gospels,
he
yes,
spoke
according to the
to.
Gospels.
According to the Gospel, Jesus spoke Greek because he had to speak to a Roman centurion.
And
He
ask
spoke
you a
when he
question?
spoke. Are you going to allow me to finish? Because then it's not what I'm saying. Right, so he spoke to a Roman centurion. The same centurion says to him in his own language, "Please heal my servant." And Jesus has a conversation with him in his own language. This is the opinion of most scholars, by the way, and this is shown contextually from the Bible because most Romans spoke the language they spoke in their time. So whether it's Latin or Greek, that would be the language they spoke. You understand? So this Roman centurion wasn't speaking Aramaic because Aramaic was the nation language of the Jews at that time. So what other languages this centurion was speaking the language?
No
You got a
Aramaic
website.
nowadays,
You
yeah?
told me
Basically.
before, and I forgot.
No Aramaic nowadays.
YouTube, I can. Do you have
No
your phone?
Aramaic. There are Aramaic Bibles.
There is.
There are Aramaic Bibles. We're not saying it, but what we're saying is because we as Christians have a tradition, just like you Muslims claim to have a
You
tradition
don't have a YouTube.
that dates back to
Oh,
the
yeah,
Prophet
yeah,
Muhammad.
yeah, yeah.
We as Christians claim
I'll
that as
show you
well.
my
And
channel.
what we claim, instead of limiting it to one language, we claim that the Bible was actually spread amongst different nations. Because this problem we have, and it's the deep problem you want to embrace it. Yeah? According to your sources, I explained with Uthman. Sorry,
Carry on.
yeah. According to your own sources, right? Uthman standardized your Quran, which means he gathered up all the Qurans and then made one copy that was for all people. With Christians, we could not do that. As soon as the Gospels were written, you're going to allow me to finish.
Exactly. Question.
Okay, so if you ask a question in the middle of when I'm talking, you're not going to get what I'm saying. Yeah, but you're saying there's many versions, but I need to tell you what a version is. Okay, so what I mean by a version is not that the version that exists today. For example, there are translations, like for example, of the Bible. So there's like the King James translation. You're just jumping in at me. You're not allowing me to speak. You're not asking a question. Was that a question? That was an assertion.
Is there any original Bible? That's a question.
Okay, so the original point I was making, or if you would allow me to finish, right, was that Uthman standardized your Quran. So Uthman standardized your Qurans, which means the Qurans that were at the time of Muhammad were different from Uthman's standard one. It would have had to be. And if you got a problem with the Bible being translated to many different languages and sent to many different cities, then you should have a problem with Muhammad and his Quran, because most of the Qurans he had at his time were burnt. Yeah, Muhammad. And at Uthman's time, the ones that, because remember, if we're to believe, allow me to finish, if we are to believe that Muhammad had a tradition of Quranic knowledge, yeah, and already recited to people, then they would have had that same Quran in many different cities, and Uthman wouldn't have had to burn it. So why did Uthman burn the Qurans? Yeah, please do. Please do.
Got the mic finally.
So now I want you to answer that question. Don't want a diversion. Answer that very question.
Diversion like you did.
So why did?
Am I entitled to a diversion like you did?
No. The point is, I asked you a question. You then answer that question. That's how conversations work. If you don't understand, that's fine.
Exactly.
But I've asked you a question. I'm going to repeat it so you know what I'm talking about.
The question is,
Uthman standardized the Quran, right?
Okay.
Why did, if Muhammad had an old tradition that was sound from his time, why was there Qurans that were in error, and why did Uthman have to burn them?
Prophet Muhammad or Uthman?
Okay, so at Muhammad's time, right, it's typically claimed by Muslim tradition that from Muhammad's time up until the present, the Quran has not been changed, right? But Uthman burned Qurans that were clearly changed. So I want you to ask this question: if Muhammad's tradition was sound and the Qurans he sent to those different cities were sound, why did Uthman burn those Qurans?
Good question. Yeah, I haven't got. I'm going to try attempt. I haven't got the knowledge, but from my limited knowledge, I'll try to explain. There's something called qira'at and ahraf. There's dialects, etc. How we have dialects here, and the miracle of the Quran that it can be. Well, it's a miracle upon miracle. Allahu Akbar. As I was saying, that the Arabic, God says in it, we will preserve it. We sent down the revelation and we will preserve it. Let's assume Uthman burnt the Quran. The Quran we have today is still the same Uthmanic Quran. Miracle again. But just to let you know, it's the same Quran that Muhammad said, because it's always been orally transmitted, and we still have memorized millions of memorizers of the Quran today throughout the centuries. So that's right, mate. God forgive me. With that said, that proves that the Quran is the original Quran and is still here amongst us. Whether that argument is true or not, it breaks that argument.
Okay, so you wouldn't know.
Let's talk about the important things.
No.
Who is
so
Jesus?
you answered my question. So
Who
I
is-
want to
I
reply.
don't
I want to talk. No, I want to talk about the question.
Who is
We're
God?
having a
Who is
conversation about the Quran. Because
Who
you
is
asked
God?
me, how do I know? Christianity and Islam. So we want to continue about the tradition, right? So according to your own traditions, right? Hafs wrote the Quran, right? And he comes from a group of all reciters that are supposedly coming from Muhammad, right? The Hafs 1924 Quran is the ones that you Muslims are reciting today. It's not the same one that existed at that time. You haven't got proof. You haven't got proof of an Uthmanic Quran. Let me say, you haven't got proof of a written Uthmanic Quran from the time of the Uthman that was sent to the 5 cities. You've not got one of those.
Answer. Just to prove, you said a written one, yeah? I gave that Holocaust example. If a Holocaust happens, it might happen. Armageddon might come, isn't it? Nuclear war or anything. But all scriptures are gone. What's going to be produced? The Quran, because it's memorized. Written or not, it's memorized. I tell you, if you
That
memorize,
just proves my point and not yours, man.
and I'll prove how it proves my point.
No, just for future.
It's not you. A Muslim memorized.
Then why would Uthman burn Qurans if they were all translations that were sound from the time of Muhammad? You still haven't got my
Just to correct you, they're not translations, they were in Arabic too. Second thing, to prove my point again, Arabic proves that will correct that. No, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake here.
Why would there be mistakes if we have a sound tradition from Muhammad, bro?
Because we're human beings and the original.
If there was ever mistakes, it proves that there was never a sound tradition in the Quran. How do we know that the Qurans that Uthman burnt weren't the original Quran? How do we know that?
Humans make mistakes, hence the Bible, there's all mistakes in the Bible. With the Quran, there's not a single contradiction in it.
There's not a single contradiction.
Not a single contradiction.
So, for example, Tawheed. This is a typical claim from Muslims that Allah is one in
What's
respect.
that? What's that?
Tawheed. Do you know what Tawheed is?
Tawheed.
The doctrine of unity.
Of unity,
So, Tawheed or Tawheed.
I'm glad we're going on to this now. Yes.
Right. The reason why I'm going on this is because the typical claim from Muslims is that Allah is one and he's person and he's big, right?
Yes.
The problem is the Quran claims that there are other divine figures in it. For example,
The Quran, what, sorry?
the Quran claims that there are other divine figures within the body of Allah.
Go ahead.
So allow me to finish, right? So when we think of the spirit, we think of the spirit as something that is contingent upon the person.
First, you're asking, the Quran says about the spirit, they ask you according about the
Yeah,
rules.
1785.
The spirit, and say what you have is from the command of the Lord. What we have is literal knowledge.
I know what the Quran says about it, but I don't care what the Quran says. But I'm saying what the Quran actually shows us what it is. Because what it says here, it's Surah 19:16 to 19. It says, basically, it shows the birth of Jesus or whatever. Right? We see that Allah's messenger, who is the Ruh, comes down to Mary in the perfect man and says to her, "I will give you a son." And the term used for I will give you is Leah Haba. And you can do the research yourself, right? Leah Haba. So the Arabic term used is Leah Haba. I don't know Arabic, but I know that word. That one term. The reason why is because Arab scholars have actually admitted that it means two gig. So it's not just me claiming it. And I've looked up that verse and it actually means two gig, right? So basically, long story short, the spirit says to Mary, the Ruh HaKudos, which is called the trustworthy spirit, says, "I will give." Yeah, well, it's not angel Gabriel. Can you show me that from the Quran? Nowhere in the Quran does it say the angel Gabriel gave Mary son. It doesn't say angel.
The Quran out. Don't give you permission.
No, she took a picture of me. She's my friend. She didn't take a
And I
picture.
want the exact place where the angel, the Ruh, or the Ruh HaKudos is called Jibril. I want the exact place.
And just to prove your point, the angel in the Bible, the angel comes to Mary, and the only time in the Bible again that he comes to the woman is to Hajar, from the mother of Ishmael, whom the great nation comes from. Obviously, this is going to be deleted, but carry on.
Ishmael is
we
actually
don't delete
no, that's not a problem because Ishmael's covenant was already fulfilled. Did you read Genesis 17?
Revelation, yeah.
So Genesis 17 actually says
Genesis-
that the
Genesis
Holy
39,
Covenant. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Genesis 17 says the Holy Covenant comes through Isaac, and then Ishmael will be made a great nation.
Written by the Jews.
And what's it say in Genesis 24? It says in Genesis 24 that Ishmael's nation were made of 12 princes. So we're not talking about an individual that comes there called Muhammad. In fact, you show me where in the Quran it says that Ishmael is the direct line of Muhammad. You show me that from the Quran.
We know that he is.
What do you mean know that is? Can you show me that from the Quran?
Show me Jesus is from Isaac or
I can easily. I can show you from the genealogy of the Bible.
contradictory ones, yeah?
So
Basically,
basically, that basically the lineage in Luke is obviously different because that's referring to the parentage of Joseph, who becomes adopted. Who becomes you're running away from my saying. Who becomes the adopted? Jesus becomes the adopted son of Joseph. Therefore, the lineage runs up to him. Whereas Mary's lineage is mentioned in Matthew, so it's not a contradiction of terms. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what.
But you're changing the topic. We were talking about Surah 19, 16 to 19.
And Prophet Muhammad
You're running
said
away from my point.
Prophet Muhammad.
You run away from the Quran. You don't like the Quran. All right, that's fine. So I actually answered the right question. No, I did answer the question.
Prophet Muhammad sent to teach morals. No one has morals nowadays. Disrespect.
The angel Gabriel is called the spirit or the ruh in the Quran.
Okay.
Now I want you to answer this question. Where in the Quran does it say that? In fact, I've got
Are you going to let me answer?
I'll give you the Quran. You can hold it yourself, and you can show me exactly where it says
Unless I don't memorize the whole
that Jibril.
Quran. Anyone memorize the whole Bible?
You told me that millions memorize the Quran. So why have you?
Have you
It's what it is, isn't it? It's what it is. Millions could, but you couldn't.
You're smart, but you're not playing smart. Let me answer that.
I don't think
Did I say I memorized the
Quran. It
Quran?
is what it is.
You're going around the circle. You
Man, I'm
have
going to
no
be
morals,
honest.
my friend.
Man, I'm going to
You
be
have no
honest.
morals.
You don't know what you're
You're
talking
playing
about.
smart. Playing
You don't know what
smart.
you're talking about. Well, what I want you to do is show me where in the Quran, because you made the claim, right? You did. Be honest. You made the claim that the angel Gabriel was called the Ruh in the Quran. Can you show me that in the Quran? You can't do it, can you?
I can't, no.
You can't.
I can't. You won. Yes, thank you. Ego. Yes, E.
There's nothing more to say.
No,
Okay.
we're
Can
not
I ask
doing
a
that,
question?
so we want you
Can
to
I
get
ask
to
a
the
question?
truth, that's
So,
all.
hey,
And I want people viewing to submit that this is what Muslims do and lie about their own religion. Because you told me yourself that the Quran teaches that the angel
No,
Gabriel is the Ruh.
We
Can you show me that?
listen, do you know the
So you're
parable
telling
of
me
the
you're lying to my
sower?
face. And you're lying to every
The
Muslim.
parable of the sower, where Jesus, talks about the throwing the seeds. So we want to give the seeds to
You're
good
Quran,
soil.
you're disrespecting your God because you're lying about it. Because he didn't say the angel Gabriel was the Ruh.
Because it's a spiritual warfare.
Go on.
It's a spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual war. It's a battle
You
for
tried to
people's
answer that
souls,
question.
right?
I
Because
don't
we're
need to
born
listen
into
to
sin. Yeah.
You're not my teacher. You're not my teacher. In fact, I just schooled you on your own
Because you have
religion.
to fight
So
with
if
it's a
I'm your
spiritual
teachable.
sword.
You said that.
Yes.
Ephesians.
Jesus said, Gospel of Matthew, chapter number 10.
So instead of actually answering the questions I posited, you want to run again.
Yeah.
We of course believe Jesus is God. We're Christians. We're not Muslims. Oh.
He said, good master, good teacher.
Yeah, Mark 10.
What did they say?
Mark 12.
Jesus said, why
On your hands, Carl.
Oh, thanks, man.
Your lever and it's for you special,
Do you
okay?
think I've come to give peace on earth?
only God is
No.
good, yeah?
Only God is good. Yeah.
Division.
God is knowing.
Division.
Yes or
Yeah.
no?
What do you think? Do you want me to explain?
God all knowing. Well, yes, God is all knowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what that means?
You can't explain his death.
Jesus all knowing. Whilst he was on earth, it says in Philippians chapter 2, verse 6 to 11, that he made himself lower than the angels. So, of course, he didn't have the knowledge that he had in his
What was he
presence.
asking them? He said, when's the hour? What did he say?
Yeah, you're talking about Mark 13, bro. I know your arguments. We've heard them a million times. These are not new arguments, mate. I'm going to be honest. Even David Wood was discussing these arguments about 20 years ago.
He's going where he's going. But what's it
The point I'm making is these are not new arguments.
Jesus answered.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the Bible and I'm going to, because what I don't do is I don't cherry pick like you do. Right? So if Jesus isn't God, he shouldn't be able to say things like this according to the Old Testament. So I'm going to go to Mark. I'm going to go to Mark 14 to show that Jesus is
What
God.
was the answer?
Wait, bring your cameras.
Because what we're not doing is we're not cherry picking and saying what was the answer, what was the answer. I know what the answer was. In fact, if you want to know the answer, you can go get the answer from the Bible. I already know the answer.
Tell me then.
Nobody knows the hour. Not the angel of heaven, not the Son, but the Father alone. I've just answered the question. Did you not hear what I said? I just answered the question.
He wasn't filming in the first place.
Did I not answer the question? Did I not answer the question?
What did Jesus say? When is the hour? Tell me. No one knows everything. It's all right.
No one knows the hour. Not the angel of heaven, not the Son on earth. Not the humans, not the angel of heaven, not the Son, but the Father.
So is Jesus God then?
Yes.
Well, he doesn't know
Because
what the hour is.
according to Mark 14, which is the very next verse, by the way, he says this. And I'm going to read it. This is Mark 14:24. Right?
Right.
Just
Have you got another camera?
I'm going around in circles. God's not a God of confusion. Trinity is 300 years after Jesus. Council of Nicaea, Council of Constantinople, Paris today, including myself. And
The Council of Nicaea.
Council of Nicaea.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you there because you're making a foolish example. Show where the Council of Nicaea adopts a Trinity.
Jesus was introduced into the Godhead.
No. Show me where the Council of Nicaea adopts a Trinity. Show me where the Council of Nicaea adopts. Because you're making assumptions.
Okay.
It's like me saying to you, Muhammad was a goat that existed in Saudi Arabia. You've got to, I've got to prove that Muhammad was a goat that
There is
existed in
some
Saudi
truth
Arabia.
in that statement, though.
Yeah, he was a goat. Let's be honest. But,
You're not very smart. You're laughing, aren't you?
it's hilarious.
Neither
It's
is
hilarious.
she for a goat, right?
But hold on. I'm going to ask you a question about the Bible. Showing the historical context that the Bible says.
14 years
For example,
human knowledge
Jesus says himself
against
that he
eternity.
rides on a cloud. Right?
He
This is a
came
divine
before
term.
I was
Daniel
asking,
7.
show me a single
Daniel
one
7.
where Jesus wasn't crucified. He couldn't show me.
Sorry, Daniel 7, 13 to 14. The divine figure is mentioned. He's the Son of Man. And he's mentioned as sitting on a throne in the right hand of the Father. Now, I want to ask you a question, right? If you're sitting on a...
I'll give
Of course you can, I don't mind. If you're sitting on the right hand of somebody, right? In any kingdom, right? Does that mean you have equal authority to that figure?
At my own pocket,
Okay.
this is his words, not mine.
Answer that.
You can give me 5 verses.
Classroom, as we said, teacher has one teacher, yes?
I'm talking about a throne. So I said in the kingdom. Did you not hear what I said? I'm talking about class.
There's one lion.
How many verses
In
you
the
want?
kingdom is King Charles.
My question specifically was, when it comes to thrones, because Daniel 7:13 to 14 says that the Son of Man was seated on the throne of power next to the Ancient of Days, or God, or what we call the Father, what you would call Allah. According to what? So if Jesus, what logic, bro? If Jesus is saying, I've been given a power and authority over all the heavens and earth, what is he calling himself, bro?
Not God. And even if he said that,
Good night. Good night. I'm sorry. Good night. Good night.
He's
Good
gonna
night.
put money now.
Good night.
Let's,
Good night.
Are we done?
So can Muhammad say he has authority over the heavens and the earth? Can Muhammad say that?
no.
Exactly.
Right, let's.
What does it prove?
You need to film this. He's putting money.
Money.
Why are you betting some money?
This is going to enjoy this, okay? What I done at Stratford last night, get yourself, I've got something for you special later.
Right.